So who should you vote for in November 2020? So this is my endorsement video. I endorse no one. I usually don't endorse anyone because to me, I think that it's very problematic to endorse a human being. Human beings can disappoint you. Human beings can change their mind. So a politician can, with all of their heart, make a promise to you, a solemn promise. I promise that I feel this way, and then because I feel this way, I'm gonna do this thing. And then suddenly, they feel a different way. And so politicians are tough. Now, when you look at an election, like at a ballot, politicians aren't the only thing you vote for, though. You also vote for what's called ballot initiatives. So at the state, county, and city level, regularly the citizens are asked to weigh in yes or no for certain legislation that must be approved by the public. And to me, much more so than voting for politicians, this is where public participation can really count, because you can guide whether or not a certain thing becomes a law. And there's nothing more powerful than that. Choosing a candidate is such a, gosh, it's like choosing, who's going to be the next Miss America, or who wins a beauty pageant or a popularity contest, homecoming queen, that kind of a thing. It doesn't really matter, because once they get into office, you have no control over them. Especially in our current system. In our current bipartisan system, the average voter has no control over a national politician. That politician answers to their donors. So unless you're a millionaire or a billionaire, unless you are a star funder, unless there is a lobbyist, okay? Unless you've got money or power behind you, you mean nothing to these politicians. They'll shake your hand, they'll kiss your baby, and the moment you disappear, they'll never think about you again. And why should they? They have to meet so many people in a day. I've had to tell students who asked me if I remember their name, and I have to say with all sincerity, I have 100+ students every day as a substitute. So I'm meeting hundreds of students all the time. In a week, I might meet more than 1,000 students. I'm not gonna remember everyone's name, even if I see you multiple times. If you're not misbehaving or going out of your way to introduce yourself to me, I'm not going to remember your name. I'll probably remember your face, but not your name. Now imagine politicians. Imagine a politician running for an office. You are nothing to them. And so I don't necessarily recommend you vote for them. If you feel confident about a candidate and you're willing to put your personal responsibility, if you are willing to take responsibility for the actions of that person, then vote for them. But if you're not willing to take responsibility for the actions of that person, if you're unwilling to bear that burden, then should you really be voting for them? Should you really be putting that energy and that confidence behind that individual? Politicians and people who work for political organizations try really hard to convince us of how sacred the vote is, and yet so little time is spent really discussing or thinking about what that means for something to be sacred. If the ability to vote is special, something that separates countries like the United States from some idea of tyranny or oppression of the past, or that exists in other countries, then what is it that actually makes it special? And it's not so that you can just throw it away on the better of two evils. It's so that you can make the best choice. And make the best choice. Make the best choice for you. For you, not for your friends, not for your political party, not for your community. For you. Now, what's best for you might be what's best for your friends, your political group, your community, your city, blah, 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 blah. Those things can line up, but they might not. And it's for you to decide. It's not for anyone else to decide. And for people to put pressure on you, to try to manipulate you, is absurd. And in fact, they will gaslight the situation, and they will tell you that I'm like a Russian agent, you know, because I'm sitting here and suggesting that you might not vote for a Democrat or a Republican. I must be a Russian bot, okay? And I'm not a Russian bot. I'm not saying not to vote. I'm not saying vote third party. I'm saying only vote for what you believe in. Only vote for who you're willing to take responsibility for. You know, if a parent takes their kid to a store and the kid breaks something in the store, the parent has to pay for it. The kid's a child. Well, think of politicians like children, okay? Our politicians are our children, even though they're supposed to work for us, okay? So if you're not willing to pay for the things that your politician breaks, don't vote for them. And here's another thing, just to cap this off, because this is getting long and excessive. Whether you vote for someone or not, once they get into office, they work for you. It doesn't matter whether you voted for them or not. All right, the position is a representative position of a jurisdiction. So let's, for instance, a congressional, someone in the House of Representatives, a senator, they represent all the constituents, not just the constituents who voted for them. So it doesn't even matter whether you voted for someone or not. Once they're in office, you should bother them and demand that they give you what they want. That they give you what you want. Okay, that's it for now. Let's see if these ever even make it on the internet. Be well.